Okay, so let's talk about a very relevant topic right now, which is why everyone that you know is switching to futures. Every profitable trader or every social media influencer is switching to futures. And why is that? And I know that a lot of people are getting confused. A lot of people are like, should I switch into futures? Why is everyone stopping FX and going into futures? And so today I will explain why that is, and also I will explain to you the difference and why I won't be doing a hybrid. I will just consider myself a more full trader, meaning that I could trade any markets with the same systematic approach that I use. And so let's get into the video, and I'm going to talk about why everyone is switching into futures. Now, this probably came as a surprise to everyone because with a couple of things that happened, now everyone that I personally know is focusing way more on futures and less on FX. But first, let's tackle why these people are doing this. And I have to tell you, knowing insider information from the people that I know, I just know the reason why these people are switching. And I know that it's not because they want to, it's actually due to necessity. So for example, one of the things that some people don't know, which is if you are a prop firm owner, you can't trade with 95% of prop firms, with retail prop firms such as, let's say, MyFundedFX, The Funded Trader, and some other firms. The firms that you can trade with as a prop firm CEO is like Alpha Capital, it's FTMO, it's True Forex Funds, and maybe a couple of others. Which means that, first, I know this doesn't apply to a lot of you, but it kind of explains why some people are switching, which is you're so limited that futures firms like TopStep, Apex, and etc., they don't care if you are a firm owner, you can trade with, because it's such a different market. And then a lot of the traders that I know are from the US. A lot of these profitable traders that I hang around with, they are from the US. Which means that right now they are extremely limited. As you've seen, prop firms have been shutting down US traders for some time now because of regulation that they think will step in, which is something that I've talked about in a previous video. I thought from the get-go that US traders will be very hindered with these regulations that will be stepping into prop firms. And one of the things that we are seeing right now is that a lot of firms are not allowing US anymore, which leads to a lot of the people that I know, which had multiple millions in funding from these firms, losing their funding or just being heavily restricted, right? And that's where you see the MetaTrader situation coming up. That's where you see US traders only being allowed to use DX Trade. That's where you see that US traders, they can't even use C Trader, right? And so they have to look for something different. And that is where futures steps in, because futures is a highly regulated market in the US, and you have firms such as MyFunded Futures, which I do have a link in the description, by the way. MyFunded Futures, TopStep, Apex, ETF, I think. I don't know many of these futures firms, but they all just keep sticking around because they're using US brokers. They are in a US regulated market, and so these traders, out of necessity, have to learn futures because else they can't use prop firms anymore, right? And I've said this from the beginning. Prop firms, if you are a profitable trader, are a huge benefit. Prop firms are a huge benefit. If you are profitable, they literally just give you more leverage, more capital to work with, right? The problem is a lot of unprofitable traders go for it. But from the traders that I know, they prefer the regular CFDs prop firms because they give you more leverage, they give you bigger payouts, they have better drawdown, they have better conditions in general, and so they are overall much better. Yet because US traders are being so restricted, they're actually having to move to futures. And that's where they go into the futures prop firms. That's where you see me also dabbling into the futures prop firms. That's why I talked with MyFunded Futures, and I even did the first episode, which you might want to check out. And now you might be asking yourself, so do I have to switch to futures? Meaning, do you have to switch to futures? And the answer is no. If you are not from the US or any banned countries from the CFDs prop firms, and you stick to the most reputable ones, so I would say you can stick to FTMO, you can stick to Alpha, and what else? I think like genuinely right now, these ones would be the two that I would max out. And FTMO first and then Alpha Capital. It's just because those are the two that still have their own brokerage and they haven't had a lot of problems. And so those are the two that I'm personally now trying to max out. And then when it comes to futures, I will first try to go for my funded futures, which you've seen, and then probably Top Step. But again, I don't really like the conditions of futures prop firms. I still have to, I will make a review video on it and talk about why I don't like them. But overall, I don't think the rules are as favorable as the CFD brokers. And that is why I'm going to keep sticking to CFD brokers. I am going to keep trading EU. I'm going to keep trading pound dollar, euro dollar, all of these things, right? Because that's what I've done for the last 5 years. Now, one of the things that I also have to talk about is the fact that I've noticed that I am a very profitable futures trader. I am. I know I am, right? Because NASDAQ, it moves really, really well on the 1 minute, and that's what I've been trying to trade. This is one of the reasons why a lot of professional traders go for futures, which is futures is actually a centralized market. And I know that a lot of like crypto people, red pill people, they're like, oh, nothing, we want nothing centralized. And it's like, yes, you do. Especially when it's the market where they can quickly fuck you up. And the difference between a centralized and a decentralized market is that, and not decentralized, but it's simply not centralized in one exchange, is that with futures, and this is one of the reasons why futures are better than FX or CFDs, is that futures, they're all in one brokerage, one regulation, right? So if you look up ES futures or NASDAQ futures, they're all, it doesn't matter if you're trading with my funded futures, Top Step, on your own personal account. If you want to trade NASDAQ futures or ES futures, you are going to be trading on CME, which is the exchange that provides the futures. Which means that if I'm entering in a long, and if you are trying to enter in a long, we are seeing exactly the same price. We are not seeing some random price feed that the broker decided to give us, which is what happens with CFDs. That is why brokers can install things like delays, volume bands, slippage, all of these things. These things are programmable in the CFDs market. You can do all of that, but you cannot manipulate the futures market, because what you see is what I see. And if I get something that is not real in the futures market, if it's not similar to everyone else, then something fishy is going on and the US will look into it. And that is why futures are so much better than CFDs. And that is why the price action on futures is so much better than CFDs. It's more reliable. And that's why I personally feel extremely comfortable on NASDAQ or on S&P 500, which is ES, to have much smaller stop losses and going for higher risk to rewards, because I know what I'm expecting. And that is the other reason why so many people are switching to futures and not only CFDs. Because there's also the fact that because it's all in the same market, so let's say we're talking about Tesla stock. I want to buy 10,000 shares of Tesla stock and I want to buy them at $200. As soon as I execute, you can see on the order book how many transactions happened at each level. The same thing with futures, not only stocks. And you can see how many orders are stacked in each level. On CFDs, you can't do that. You can't because Owanda has a different price feed, Pepperstone has a different price feed, Vantage has a different price feed, IC Markets has a different price feed. Everyone has a different price feed. You can't even see how many orders were executed, right? Like even on crypto is also not centralized, but at least you can see that on Bybit and Binance, which are the biggest exchanges for trading, what orders are being filled. On FX, you don't even have that. And so that is another reason why people are switching to futures, because it's much more regulated, it's much more consistent, and it simply gives you a bigger sense of security. And I think that is one of the reasons why I also want to explore futures. Now, should you do it? Should I do it? If I'm answering the question, should I switch into futures? The answer is not completely, but I was talking with Rodrigo about this not long ago. It was 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. And I was talking about the fact that I'm looking to switch into trading more NASDAQ and etc. And what I was told and what came to my mind is that I don't want to be a FX trader. I want to be a trader, right? Because right now we've seen beautiful moves with crypto that I could literally have traded them technically, which means I saw the technical analysis that I do on euro dollar or on NASDAQ happening on crypto on a higher time frame, which by the way is what I trade. I trade higher time frames on crypto. I don't really like the lower time frames. I like 4 hour, 12 hour, 1 day, or even weekly. And so I've decided I don't want to be a Forex trader. I want to be a well-rounded trader that trades the markets that has the lowest hanging fruit. So for example, on FX, my January was negative, February was actually really good. February was actually a good month. It was a positive month. But on NASDAQ, the price action was so much cleaner, it was so much better that I ended up both of the months quite in profit. I personally don't want to be looking only at one market or whatever. I want to go to the lowest hanging fruit. Because as traders, you put a label on yourself as I only trade this, I only trade that, and it becomes an ego thing. While a really good, well-rounded trader can trade any market and then just goes for the lowest hanging fruit. Listen, at the end of the day, our goal is not to have the biggest ego because we have always been profitable with euro dollar. It's to fucking make money, right? That's the difference that a lot of people don't get. When you say, oh, I only do this, you miss out on the possibility of making money elsewhere. Now, you always have to be careful with jumping around, jumping from strategy to strategy, jumping from market to market, system to system, because that's what makes you unprofitable. But not if we're talking about going for the lowest hanging fruit. If there's a clean weekly market shaping up in NASDAQ while euro dollar is stuck inside of the range, why would you even bother looking at euro dollar when you can clearly trade NASDAQ, right? And still be hugely profitable. So that's going to be my focus for now on. I will be trading FX. I will also be trading futures. I will also be trading NASDAQ in prop firms, normal prop firms that I still have access to. So that is the thing. A lot of people don't have access to it anymore, but I do. And that's what I would say to you too. If you still have access to the normal prop firms, then I would still go for it. I still think that there are a great opportunity and I would still go for it. That's why I still am going for FTMO. I'm still going for Alpha Capital. I'm still funded with various other firms, and that is how I want to keep it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I was able to clear some of your questions, and that is really it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. Peace.